Hello there. So today we are going to be taking a look at the INDYCAR mod for AMS2, and we're going to be comparing it to the FUSA 2023 by Razer. So obviously both cars are based on INDYCAR's Delara IR18. The mod looking much more like the real car than AMS2 car, but I guess Razer had to do that. Um, Going into performance, the mod is generally slower than the FUSA 23. I feel like when driving, it just has less downforce and just a bit less power. And yeah, that's not the gist of it, but getting into more details. But the test was done mostly on the default setup, more so on the FUSA than the mod car. For the mod, I had to lower the pressures, so the mod and the FUSA 23 were about the same, so I think 1.4 bars everywhere, front, left, front, and rear. And I reduced the turbo pressure for the mod car to 9% because that was the default of the FUSA 23, and I put the engine braking for both cars to 2. That 2 was the default for the FUSA 23, and I put it to be the same for the mod car. Now, coming to the biggest difference between these two cars would definitely be the force feedback. And I feel like this is my biggest gripe with the mod car. The FUSA 23 is definitely more predictable in terms of how it feels, and it feels a lot more natural to drive when compared to the mod. The force feedback from the mod is subtle and almost literally too subtle in terms of giving you information in terms of what the car is doing at the current moment. And I almost have to drive the car in a reactive way. Sometimes I literally can see what's happening before I feel what's happening through the wheel. So that just I trust the car less. I can't push as comfortably, and that probably does contribute to me driving the car a bit slower. I mean, if the car is just gonna go on you at any moment, you be a bit more cautious when driving it. And obviously, I did the test of Sebring, as you've probably been seeing on the video right now. In terms of physics, the FUSA 23 is one of Razer's best car in the sim. Car. I don't know. It's one of the best cars in the sim. Why did I say best cars? It's one car. The FUSA 23 is one of the best car in the sim in terms of physics and force feedback. Obviously both the mod also uses AMS2's underlying physics, but there's some differences. I think things like lockups occur differently. Both cars you can lock up both tires and get flat spots, but you won't see it in the mod car. So it's there even in the force feedback. It's not as bad as the when you get a flat spot on the FUSA 23 car, but it is there, but you don't see them in the mod car. You see them in the FUSA 23 car. I also feel like the damage model is a bit simpler from what I've seen. The FUSA 23 has a bit more detail. I think obviously both cars, rear wing and front wing, can come off, but there's a bit more detail when that's was about the front wing damage of the FUSA 23 car when compared to the mod car. And yeah, in terms of driving physics, I'd say the mod is more sensitive to weight transfer than the FUSA 23 car, and this is especially on the braking. Now, the mod car has stronger brakes. When I was driving, this was consistent all around. The mod has stronger brakes than the FUSA 23, which I think contributes a little bit to the behavior on the braking, obviously. Um, there's also a very unnaturally strong engine braking going on with the mod car, even with both cars at the same engine braking value. Um, Now, when you compare this to the normal FUSA 23, is just there can be some awkwardness when going into corner entry. It's just the car feels like it could bog down and just a bit too fast and hard. It just kind of just slows down really unnaturally off throttle. So you can brake later, just the brakes are stronger, and also maybe the engine braking contributes to that. You can brake later, but it just you must have to kind of change how you drive, maybe go a bit deeper or turn in earlier, something like that. But yeah, Both cars do weigh the same. I think they were about, I can't remember what the weight was, but the power, both cars were like different power. The mod car had 747 horsepower and 478 newton meters of torque, which were both higher than the FUSA 23, but the FUSA 23 was faster for some reason. Both cars seem to have similar fuel tank size, so both would have the same. When I put about 5 liters of fuel, 5 laps of fuel in, both cars had 20 liters in. So that kind of told me they had the same, at least in that range. And overall, this is not going to be a long video. Overall, I prefer the driving experience of Razer's FUSA 23 car, but this is mostly down to the force feedback. I feel like if the mod car had the exact same force feedback as the USA 23, I would choose the mod car. And as someone that drives in VR, this is just because apart from the mod car does look better, but in the cockpit is the driving position is just better for me. It's just it feels a bit more natural. There's a bit more variety in the car in terms of the steering wheels for the mod cars. There's a bit more variety in, and it just feels a bit fresh. It feels a bit more, just being positioned is a bit more natural. It just, I feel like I can be more aggressive in just the cockpit position driving the mod car. But yeah, in terms of other things, I think the other character like behaviors of the mod car I feel like can be like, I don't want to say fixed, but like I believe you can solve it, so to say, with some setup tweaks or just general driving adjustments, and I feel like that would be fine. So things like the engine braking, I'd probably increase it. It works counterintuitively in AMS2. If you want less engine braking, you actually increase the engine braking value. So in case you didn't know, now you know. But yeah, that would probably be my biggest gripe, the force feedback. I feel like if that was just changed, I feel like the car would just, it'd be a different driving experience, but I feel like it would be a very, very good car. I would still recommend the mod. I think it's definitely, even just for the looks alone, it's definitely a good car to have, and it works. And even as it is right now, it is a different driving experience. I think you should try. I do have to admit, I did not test the car on ovals, but I think it would perform better. Ovals are a bit smoother, and you might not have the, like I said, some of the braking stuff. You wouldn't really have to brake on ovals. So yeah, I'm gonna put the link to get the mod in the description. So just look at that. If you want to support the modders, you can do that there as well. And yeah, let me know what you think if you have driven the mod or if you're gonna drive it, and have fun.